All right, welcome back to Grand Isaac Tarot. Today, I'm going to go over the yods, which is the Hebrew letter that means the word yod. The Hebrew letter yod is the fire in the beginning of all God's creation. And yod means hand. And it's kind of like God has his hand in all the beginning of all his creation. The yods throughout the tarot are always significant. And by counting them, they always reveal some deeper, either Kabbalistic information or spiritual connection. And it lets you know a lot about some of the subtleties, maybe what's going behind the scenes inside the cards. There's exactly 78 yods throughout the tarot suit, or the Rider-Waite tarot deck, which is cool because there's exactly 78 cards in the tarot deck. And so when the yod is the beginning of all God's creation, and kind of like God has his hand in this creation, like a divine intervention, it's now like God has his hand in every single one of the tarot card and the creation of each cards, because there's 78, just like there's 78 yods in the tarot. It's a really cool connection. It just really makes it like more of that powerful, you know. After I do the yods, I'm also going to talk about the Secret of the Wand suit. And this suit is it's really cool suit. It's the fire energy is just like the yod, because yod's the fire of all God's creation, right, in the beginning. And so the first suit is the wands, you know, out of the four suits, and it's the connects to fire, and also connects to the yod when you connect it to the four-letter name of God, Yahweh or Jehovah. So that's why we'll go over the suits, or the suit of wands as well. All right, let's see the cards that have the yods. Start with the aces. There's two aces that have yods. There's the Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups has 26 of the water droplets. And these water droplets are the Hebrew letter yod. And there's 26. 26 is the numerical value of the four-letter name of God, Yahweh, or Jehovah, and it's also known as the Tetragrammaton. And so it shows you right here that God's hand is coming out, and he's saying, receive these blessings that are coming inside the cup, which is the Immaculate Conception, where the Holy Spirit's bringing the communion wafer into the womb of Mary. So it's the Spirit bringing the body of Christ into the Virgin Mary's womb, the miracle birth. And so our miracle, you know, Immaculate Conception. And it shows how God has his hand inside this miracle, because there's 26 and it's God's hand. So it's at the beginning of this love, miracle, blessings, and creation of all that. Just like the aces are at the beginning and the head starts. It's like a little squiggly, fiery flame looking thing, which is more or easier to see when you have it on the Ace of Swords. Ace of Swords, you have 6, and there are those yellow flames floating in the middle. 6 right here connects to the Zeran pin, or also like to Tiferet of the Kabbalah Tree of Life, which is the sword that it looks like with a 3-column system. So this is the emotional aspect of Tiferet being all stimulated, maybe, or just activated. And whenever this is activated, it's someone's inner sun and their core, or their solar, I forget what you call it, solar plexus. And so it's just making them feel like a whole and solid. So this is the peace of mind card. So someone, they're feeling whole, solid, and just at peace, and get really close to absolute certainty. And there's 6 yods there. Then we got the Tower card. The Tower card, you see those same yellow yods as we saw inside the Ace. So there's 22 exactly. 22 connects to the 22 Hebrew letters that are attached and assigned to the 22 major arcana cards. And there's also 22 branches on the Kabbalah tree of life, where this tower could, in a metaphor, symbolize the Kabbalah tree of life, or the Jacob's ladder, or the Kundalini. And if it's the Kabbalah tree of life that has the crown at the top, or Keter, which is the number one sphere. And so when you tap into this and you get like an epiphany, you kind of drop all your pieces. And you'll see there's 22 of the yods connected to 22 branches. So they fall down the tree and they'll have to rejuvenate and bounce back up using the same tools that got them back up. All about rejuvenation. Maybe like a new mindset makes you smarter, you know, and then maybe things that you thought and believed were right before in the past, they suddenly don't make sense anymore, but you had to learn it in order to make you, go to the next step and new awareness. So you rejuvenate, but in a positive way. You bounce back stronger. The other card is the moon card, and you see how it has 15 of the fiery flames, kind of looking like stars, and they're directly underneath the solar eclipse. So it has the moon eclipsing the sun, and then the moon is full. And so the 15 yods, you have 15, the 15th day of a lunar cycle is whenever the moon is at its fullest. That's why it shows 15. Let you know it's a full moon, which is a time that you can self-reflect and you can start to see the dirt, and you can start to see, start to realize a lot of things about your personality that you want to change. And it kind of helps you align back onto the righteous path. It kind of also sees your wolf nature, maybe even your shadow nature, your ego, and brings it out into the light. And then there's another card where the Hermit is assigned to the Hebrew letter Yod. And so he is the one more Yod, because all the other cards I showed you before is exactly 77. 77 connects to the Hebrew word mazel, like mazel tov, which means like lucky stars. It means good luck. And so lucky stars, kind of like the moon card has those yods in the sky, like 15 stars. So it's kind of like lucky stars. So 77. Then there's just one more yod, because the Hermit is connecting to the Hebrew letter yod. And so he's like the hidden yod. The Hermit's also the face inside the moon card. So it lets you know they are connected. So now you have 78 yods altogether, just like there's 78 cards in the tarot deck. And 78 lets you know that God had his hand in the creation of the tarot deck. And one more thing that doesn't really count as a yod technically, but it's kind of cool how it has the Ten of Cups showing a man and woman together, creating the letter Y. And it shows that they are just been delivered into like a promised land, into a better, more stable, secure place in their life. And then now they are creating a new life for themselves, one with a happy future and optimistic, and one of security. So create a new life together. And that's what they create. They come together as one, create a yod with their arms so they can create new. And that is the yods. Let me read you something out of the book real quick. Out of my book. So in the Ace of Cups, there's 26 yods. In the Tower, there's 22. In the Moon, there's 15 yods. Ace of Wands has 8. Ace of Swords has 6, which is a total of 77 yods. And then yod is the Hebrew letter associated with the Hermit. And the Hermit is the personification of yod. And he holds the final hidden yod to be unveiled. Now with the Hermit added to the tarot's yods, we get a total of 77. 8. Yod Yod means hand, and it is just as important to count the hands as it is to count the yods. And before reading into it, I'll just tell you that in the minor arcana, there are characters that have tools or holding something inside their hands. And there's 26 objects held in the hands. In the major arcana, there's also another 26. Yeah, so it shows how the hands are connected to man, but that's how man and God can create miracles into this world from their thoughts into reality by like creating and manifesting your ideas with the work of your hands. And if you were to count the hands in the entire deck, you see 186, which connects to the speed of light, which is 186,000 miles per second. And so it shows you that when you're connecting to the tools, just like the tarot is a tool to connect to the 26, which is the numerical value of Yahweh. And then when you connect to the tarot, you can connect to God by the speed of light, which connects to the 186. Yeah, so the hands contain fingers, and fingers are known as digits. The digits add up to a certain value, and that value connects us to a deeper understanding of the hidden mysteries. There are exactly 186 hands in the tarot deck, which of course only includes like human-like or angel hands, not like animal hands. And in the major arcana cards, there are a total of 26 hands that are depicted holding a tool of some kind. This is the same as well for the minor arcana cards that also have a total of 26 hands holding a tool of some sort. This is significant because the numerical value of Yahweh is 26. So out of the 186 hands, 26 of them are holding a type of tool. 26 hands in the minor arcana and 26 hands in the major arcana. This is a clue that by applying your hands on the tarot cards, they are to be used as a tool connecting you to the light of God, the creator, at the speed of light. Pretty cool. And those are the yods, exactly 78 yods, just like there's 78 cards. I keep reiterating it, but it is pretty important. So the suit of wands is like trees, and the god of agriculture is Saturn. Saturn is also the lord of time. So all the wands tell time in some shape or form. And this is done by counting the branches, the green branches on the wands. And they always reveal something significant timing aspect, or they even connect to a certain number of the Sephira on the Kabbalah tree of life or a Hebrew letter. So they do reveal some sort of significance that is tied into the Kabbalistic system somehow. And I'll show you. And also, the suit of wands also tells advice. Every single one of the cards. The ancient Hebrew word for tree is etz, E-T-Z. And the word for advice is etzah, which is very similar. So it lets you know that the trees tell you advice. And the suit of wands, every single card has down to earth and practical advice. Let's start with the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands, it is like the fire of all creation. It's like one big yod kind of thing in a concept. It's the tree of life, really, because if you count the branches, you get 10. And just like there's 10 spheres on the Kabbalah tree of life. And then in the air, there is the 8 yods that look like the leaves. And the 8 yods are the fire in the beginning of all God's creation. Just like the aces are all at the beginning or the start of things. And then also, if you were to count all the green leaves together, the 10 on the wand, and then also the 8 floating ones, you get 18, which is the numerical value of the word high, like is in lahayim, or to life, showing you like a lust for life. The practical advice of the ace would be, it's time now to have a lust for life and to follow these passions. You got this epiphany, you got the desire. It's a desire for desire. It's a big passion, a new belief. And it also gives you the willpower to manifest. Because when you have the 10 branches, it connects to the Kabbalah tree of life, which is all about the 10 spheres. And the 10 is all about manifest from that thought into reality. Just like the mushy house on the card, it's just clay house. It's pure potential to develop and be built into a castle. So it's just the pure potential of that. Now I have the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands, if we count the branches, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 connects to the 6th sphere on the Kabbalah tree of life, Tiferet. Tiferet means beauty, and it connects to the sun. So it lets you know it's at the best peak level, because the sun always brings the best and the brightest, and it kind of lets you feel like you're like the most soul energy. And so you're just feeling at your peak, just like this guy has just become a prince or just become knighted. And so he's now like at his peak level of his career. He's got new social status, maybe even new freedoms now. And he's like doing the best. He's even getting the better, maybe like the penthouse inside his city. So he's got a better house, he's got a better view. And now he feels like he has the world in his hands as he looks out into the sea of possibilities. But he's at his peak. He's literally standing on the highest point of the city at the peak, or his pinnacle of his career. The advice of this card for the Two of Wands, see how there's a wand behind him and a wand in front with his right hand. So he's wanting and curious of what's going on inside the future possibilities, but still behind him, he still understands where he came from. He doesn't forget his roots. Never lose that part of you. Even though you're venturing off and you're broadening your horizons and you have new possibilities and freedoms, never forget who you are or where you came from. Don't forget your family. Don't forget your roots. These are your real values and who you are. Don't forget who you are when you have success and fame. Number 3, Three of Wands. Three of Wands, you can see, has 9 branches on these 3 wands. The 9 connect to the 9th sphere, which is Yesod, and Yesod is ruled by the moon. And the moon always unveils secrets that are unseen. So this guy, he looks out into the river that's been droughted. It could be like the Euphrates, maybe the Nile River, that droughts, and then it also will flood again. And it kind of goes in through cycles. And so this guy is looking through the droughted river, and he sees what others cannot see. He sees boats, like sailboats in the background. So if people were to look at this, and they would first see the desert, and then they wouldn't see any life springing forward. They wouldn't see any hope. They would just see the problems. But this guy is innovative, and he also knows from the past that cycles happen with the flood and the drought cycles. So he knows that it's a drought now, but that flood is about to happen. And so he can see the sailboats coming. He can see the flood. He can see the commerce and the trade and the money coming in. He can see the abundance. He has vision. And so he can see the hidden potential. And people might not believe his vision. So it's like, just stay true to your vision and don't have to, like, people won't see you or maybe agree or believe it, but you just tell them, don't believe me, just watch. The next card is the Four of Wands. Four of Wands is the wedding day card, where the man and woman get married under the huppah, starting their new life, their new house together, a new chapter in their life. And if you count the branches on there, the Hupa branches, it'll have 6. 6 connects back to Tiferet, when things are at the beauty at their peak level, at the very best. This is like the best day of their life. It's the best new beginning, and blessed with new beginnings. This is great. This is the best day of their life. Really feeling love connections, souls, their hearts are open, and they are vibrating, and they're in love. Next card is the 5 of Wands. When you see there's 12 branches on these wands. And then you can also see how this would connect to the 12 zodiac signs, which are all completely different personality types. Just like the people on the card where have different clothes, and so they look completely different. And they're trying to make each other see the differences, and then also maybe kind of bring each other together. There might be one person that stands out from the crowd on the far left side. They don't really want to conform. Maybe kind of like a maybe Aquarius kind of energy. And then the middle is a Libra, and the Libra could be more so about trying to see his side and their side and trying to make it all work and maintain a balance. But you can see how they're all like second guessing each other maybe, or pointing out the differences, although they're trying to be constructive and trying to form a unity in their diversity, and just trying to point out the differences, yes, but also trying to see what they have in common. But it's a lot of exchange of beliefs and values and ideas. But I think it's mostly constructive for the most part. It could, yes, be like arguing, but it could be like, it takes time for us to like really get along and learn each other, or learn about each other and our different personalities. It takes maybe a year, because 12 signs of zodiac. So just give it some time, and then finally we'll see eye to eye, or work things out, or learn how to come together. The 12 signs of the zodiac. Oh, another thing about advice, sorry, is that the ground that they stand on is real mushy and muddy. So no one really has a firm foundation to stand on. So you might think, just be aware of this, that, no one is really set, or nothing's in concrete, So it's like they're kind of working it out, trying to build a better foundation for themselves as a team. The 6 of Wands, if you count the wands on here, the branches on the wands, you get 12. Again, this connects to the 12 months of the year. And you can see how the man and his horse had just been practicing for a year to win this horse race. And they won. And so the man gets a Caesar's wreath, which was given to the winners of the Olympic Games that they held in ancient times, which happened every single year. I know nowadays in modern times it does every 4 years, but in ancient Rome it was every year. That's why there's 12 branches, and that's why he has the Caesar's wreath. So it shows how he succeeded and achieved his goal after a year. Sometimes this card can also just kind of be like a long time, but it's always that year. Literally, it happens a lot, but it could be literally a year's time. If someone was like, am I going to achieve my goal now? Like, well, if you got this card, be like, well, has it been a year? And if not, like, oh, I haven't really started it yet. Oh, if you haven't started it, then it's going to be a year before you can achieve your goal. But if it's something you've been working on previously already, it just shows you're about to get it now, if it's been about a year. Makes sense? A year all the time. Then we have the 7 of Wands. If you count the branches on this card, you have 20. 20 is the numerical value of the Hebrew letter Kaf, which means palm of hand or grip. So it lets you know that this guy has this big wand, which is his belief or his value, and he's trying to convince the others that his opinion is bigger and better, and he's trying to make them understand or stand under him. But sometimes people are just not at your same maturity level. So you just got to realize that and just kind of figure out, like, is it even worth arguing with people that are just on my same maturity level? So you just got to learn to drop it. Drop your opinion, let go of your grip. And the time to do that is now. Next card is the 8 of Wands. If you count the branches, you get 24. Just like there's 24 hours in a day. And so the card is blue, so you can see how it's like a day. And these wands are beliefs, values, and opinions, and your creative ideas, and things that you want to see and figure out, like, if you're passionate about it or not. And if you are, then you'll stick with it. But it's nice to at least know or have the experience, so you never regret not trying. So this is like, let's just try all my ideas and get it all off the ground. And I'll figure out what I like and what I don't, and what I have a passion for, what I don't, and what sticks and what's good for me. So it's kind of like, try it all, but just take it one day at a time, 24 hours in a day, one day at a time. Next card is the 9 of Wands. So the 9 of Wands, all the nines, they connect to the moon, because the 9th sphere on the Kabbalah tree life is Yesod, that's ruled by the moon. So that being said, you count the branches on the wands and you get 27. 27 is significant because it is the timing for the lunar return, whenever someone turns 27 years old. And this sets you up for your Saturn return. That happens when you're about 29, and it lasts until you're 32. And then it's completely over by the end of 32, and for surely after 33. So this just shows like a really rough time, like it's an identity crisis. And it's the advice is, yes, this is a tough time. It could be like even a midlife crisis, or when you just face kind of when the past kind of creeps up to you again, or it's just a test of your will, test of your strengths, test of your personality, test of your values, you know, or maybe even your see if you're really true to your ideas, you know, your integrity. So it's like, it's just a phase is what it's all about, because the moon's all about phases, and this lunar return is just a phase. It's brief, but it's something that we all need to go through, where we do feel beaten, but afterwards we always come out stronger, and we kind of like grow more into an adult, and we mature. And as you look back, you can be grateful, because you wouldn't be who the person you are now if it hadn't gone through these troubling times. But you kind of learn like what you know, what you don't know. I mean, sorry, like, and yeah, or like what you value, what you don't value, what you want out of life, what you don't. A lot of people quit religions, or they quit their job, or they change majors in college. They even get divorced maybe, or they start a new relationship, or they lose a friendship, and maybe even start out hanging out with new kind of people that they haven't in the past. It's a lot of different changes, but usually it's always in the right direction. And it's kind of like a snake shedding its skin, but really growing up and becoming more of adult and more maturity and spiritually stronger. But yes, just a phase. Moving on to the 10 of Wands. If you count the branches, you get 33. 33 is significant because that was the age of Jesus when he died on the cross and returned back home to his father. So you see this guy holding these branches, these wands, similar to how Jesus held his cross, marching up to the hill where he would get crucified. And that's when he returned back home to the Father. So in the background of this card, you see someone marching to a castle or to his home. And he kind of returns back to his essence. And it kind of returns, kind of like maybe finishes the job he was here set forth to do. And then now he can retire in a way and move on to the next phase. Or maybe even a phase where he feels like he's really following his passions now. Almost like maybe even working remotely after he kind of retired from his office job. And then whatever he does remotely, he can kind of retire, maybe work a little bit at a time, take over the business, but he could still like focus more on his hobbies and goals and passions and kind of reconnect to his child passions that he used to have, like more like aligned with his essence. But it's all about kind of like being a big fish in a small pond kind of vibe. And it's like, I gotta go, I gotta uproot, and I'm gonna take everything with me, and all I really can take is my knowledge on to the next phase. But that phase that I've been kind of working towards, like when we see the Ace of Wands, you see the clay house, which was the potential for a castle. Now we see the castle in this card, the Ten of Wands, and it's realized and manifested. So this guy's been working for that castle, and now finally he can go march towards it and really like have that main goal he wanted. And we also got to check out the Wands court cards because they're also very important too. And it's the same thing. All the wands show these timing aspects or somehow like a Hermetic Qabalistic connection. Whew. I just got out of the shower recently. That's with my hair. It's all over the place. But Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands, if you count the wands, you have 1, 2, 5. 5 connects to the fifth sphere on the tree of life called Gevurah, which means severity or strength. And it connects to Mars and Mars energy, which is passion, drive, ambition, and also like a lust and a desire, like huge desire. So you see this guy is seeing a big, huge desire. And it's a change of belief card, change of passion, change of opinion. Sometimes you see something that you want, and now you want to go get it. And so it's like, or maybe it's something that you once believed about something, and now you don't believe it anymore. And now you have like a new desire or some, you know, that sort of aspect. Just a new desire, new passion, new belief, new lust for life or something, a new want to go obtain it and make it yours. You could even see something that you, like a personality trait in somebody else, and you want it to be part of you. Like you see someone strong, you want to be strong, or someone confident, you want to be like that, or someone who is tough or is a risk taker or a funny person, or even maybe even they do some sort of talent or some sort of skill like cooking or you name it, whatever it is that you have a new passion for and you want to copy and emulate this, you go and do it. It gets them out of your rut, out of your desert area, which is the place of complacement. It's kind of a place where things go to die, or just nothing springs forward and nothing lives inside the desert. And nothing changes. So this guy is like that salamander on his shirt, where salamanders go to the excitement. They go to the fire, and they can dance on fire for a little bit of time before they get burned. And so the thing about the salamanders is that they do dance on the fire until it gets too hot, and it's not fun anymore because they're burning, and then they get off. Just like this guy would like see something that he likes and goes for it, but as soon as it gets a little boring or it's no longer stimulating for him, he just walks away. And then sometimes you'll go see something else. But it's all about following the passion, following the fire with that 5 branches of the Aries energy, and also the energy of Gevurah. And then we have the Knight of Wands, and all the knights, they deliver a call to action. And this guy is to jump up out of your complacency, and go follow your passion. If you count the wands, you also have another 5 wands, all of it that give her energy, ambition, drive. And this is like really jumping out of it. This is the first card is announcing a change of mind or change of passion. This is like really taking action to get out. And because when you have a change of mind about something or a new passion, now that starts to trigger, like maybe I should do something. This is a guy that actually does it and jumps up out of his complacency. And he's really taking action towards his new passion. And then we have the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands has three branches on her wand. 3 connects to the 3rd sphere, Bina, which means understanding. And it's understanding through contemplation. And it's also like a higher level of awareness because you've had time to let it settle and sink in. And usually because of that, you can figure out ways of how to make a situation better or how to improve on whatever project's at hand or situation. And so she has her wand inside her throne area. So she kind of holds her beliefs and words and opinions to herself. And it's not like she's just wise, she is not afraid to say what she needs to say, but she is wise and tactful of how she says it. And she might even think to herself, maybe it's just better if I don't have anything nice to say, maybe don't say anything at all. Maybe just hold my belief to myself, by my tongue, maybe. And I can just, I just want to keep the peace. But she's very wise, though. And so sometimes it takes a smart person and to be able to bite their tongue and to control their temper and to control having to say something snarky or, it's just sometimes better just to make peace and let things, not let it slide, but just in the moment, it's better just to say nothing at all, not to escalate the problems. So she'll like absorb all the information first and really sit on it and chew on it before she comes out with her opinion. But it might take her a while. But it's always like for the betterment of everybody and the situation. The king is a little bit in the opposite on that because his wand is on the outside of his throne cemented area. So it shows how he's assertive and he's very forthcoming or outgoing and extroverted with his opinion and his beliefs or his ruling, his judgments. If you count the branches, you get 4. 4 connects to the Hebrew or to the 4th sphere on the Kabbalah tree of life, Hesed. Hesed means mercy and kindness. So it shows how he is assertive and he is a judge and he judges character, but he judges you with mercy and with kindness and compassionate heart. And he does like to get into the fire. He is all about fire, just like the salamanders and the lion on his throne and the flames on his hat. And he's just like King Solomon from the Bible. And Solomon, his name, Solomon, is 3 ancient words for sun. So he's fire. And so he is kind of like someone who does not afraid to get into the fire or into the heat of things or into the intense and into the issues and problems. And he goes in and he squashes out the fires. Like the little fires everywhere. He just goes for the little problems. He fixes them. And then he usually has the last say. And then people do what he says. And everyone kind of ends up happy in the end. But he's the one that's very assertive. And he really like puts his foot down and stomps out the fires. But he does it with mercy and kindness and with respect. And also people give him the same respect because of that. He's a good leader and wise decision maker, and also just a compassionate heart, judge of character. All right, that is the suit of wands, and then also the yods, and how they are kind of connected, because yod is the first letter in the 4-letter name of God, Yahweh, which is fire, just like the wands are fire, and they're the first suit out of the 4 suits of the tarot deck. All right, thank you. There's some other cards that also have trees on them. And here's 2 that I have that are pretty significant with timing aspects, just how like the suit of wands always shows timing. One of them is the hangman. The hangman, the guy hangs from a tree, and the T tree is what he hangs on. T, it is connected to the Hebrew letter Tav. Tav means truth, and Tav is ruled by Saturn, and Saturn is the lord of time. Saturn is also the lord of agriculture, so it connects to the to the tree as well. And so this guy is hanging by his truth, realizing that it'll take time and to heal, and for time for other people to realize his truth and to accept his truth, and then he'll kind of like overcome any problems he has, and his soul can rest at ease there. But the T, he's hanging on his truth and his time. Even the Hebrew letter connected to it is Mem, which means water, and has a numerical value of 40. 40 Kabbalistically is always a amount of time that's needed for a spiritual baptism, or like spiritual growth, or elevation, or realization, or transformation. And it just really depends on the situation or the person, how long that, like, it could be literally 40 days and 40 nights. But for some people, it could just be 3 days in order for someone to like learn a lesson, or to kind of like heal some issue, or some argument. It's always about time. But the time is relevant, depending on the situation or the person. Another card like that is the 8 of Pentacles. So this 8 of Pentacles, you'll see the pentacles all on that tree. And they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hanging on the tree. And then it shows the guy at his workbench. He has 1 pentacle. So this is kind of like the 6th pentacle, right? And so this is significant because of the 6 days of creation, which is in Genesis chapter 1. And so you see the guy's creating his projects, his passion projects. It could even be like a relationship he's working on. But, literally here, it's like someone's working on their project or their work. And so there's taken a lot of time to do the same thing over and over, but always making it better and improving on it every single time. And with time, things get better, and you become more of a skilled worker, and you become like an expert or a master, a master worker, master mason, master builder, master arts craftsman. But it shows like on the 6th day, that's when God created mankind, which was the apex of God's creation, which was his best. And so it shows how his best thing is made on that 6th day. And sometimes in relationships or in relationship readings, you'll see this card come up. And it's like, well, how long, will a relationship last? It could be like 6, or even like if it's the 6th year, it might be like the happiest year because it was the best. And or if he's like, when is someone going to call me back? I was like, well, he'll probably call you back 6 days from now, when they start feeling at their best and they want to like reconnect, something like that. Or maybe if you started a project, it'd be like 6 days from now, maybe 6 weeks from now, something like that. The number 6 always connects somehow. I wouldn't say like 6 years, unless it really is specific for somebody, but usually it's like shorter timing because the tarot is a calendar for the year. So it could be anyone below a year. 6 months is the longest, you know. It just depends. But 6 is always the number, and 6 is the best when they're at their peak level or reaching the best point of a relationship or going to achieve success, maybe out of a job. All right, I think I'm gonna maybe find something inside the book real quick I want to finish up on that kind of ties in this lesson together. I want to read like a little part of from my book about the suit of wands that it's just a pretty neat like numerical and maybe even like gematria like connection. So within the suit of wands, we add up the total number of branches found in the pips, which is the ace through 10 of the suited cards. And we get 160 branches. 160 is the gematria value for the Hebrew word itz, meaning tree. When you add up the total number of branches found in the court cards, you get 17 branches. 17 is the gematria value of the Hebrew word tav, meaning good. Combine the two words together and you get good tree, which would allude to the tree of knowledge of good and evil, as well as the tree of life. Both trees would be considered here because in biblical Hebrew, the word for tree, etz, can be used as singular tree, as well as it is in the plural sense, trees. The plural form of the word etz is etzim, which always refers to wood in the Bible, just the same. When you add 160 plus 17, you get 177. 177 is the Hebrew gematria value for the phrase Garden of Eden. So these gematria connections reveal to us the good trees in the Garden of Eden, which was the tree of good and evil, and then also the tree of life. Trees. So the suit of wands relates to knowledge, and as well as the element fire, which coincides with letter yod, the Hebrew letter which is present in all creation, which I have said so many times already, but it'll get stuck in your head. So the letter yod looks like a small flame, considered the fire of life or fire of creation. These associations further reinstate the significance of the suit of wands shares with the two trees in the Garden of Eden, the tree of knowledge and the tree of life. In the Garden of Eden, humans were regarded as the apex of creation. The trees in the garden represent man's potential, bearing fruit containing the sustenance they needed to evolve emotionally as well as intellectually. Oh, another cool thing to say also is that so when you add up the sum of the values of the 3 divine names of God, you get 177 also. And the names are Elohim, which is 86, Adonai, which has a value of 65, and Yahweh, which is 26, which gives you 86, 65, and 26 equals 177. 177 being the value of the phrase Garden of Eden. It connects us to the Kabbalistic concept of Eden, which is that it represents paradise. Kabbalists suggest that this paradise can be reached by obtaining higher levels of awareness. So the trees bring advice, and this practical advice will bring you a higher level of consciousness. And this consciousness is obtained when you travel all the way through the suit of wands from the ace to the 10. The 10 of wands has 33 branches on the wands, which connects to Christ consciousness. The 1 billion of billion at one with everything is because Christ was 33 years old when he died on the cross and returned as one with the Father in heaven. And then you can be at one and feel at peace and have a higher awareness with your higher self. It really goes deeper and deeper into it, but I just think those two things are really cool to point out. The Secret of the Wands. Thank you. I think next class we're going to go over some practice of how to read the cards exactly. I have a 5-card. I have actually 2 5-card spreads that I do a lot for clients and friends that are really good. One is shows you like your soul's urge, like what you really need on a subconscious level, just to like kind of put yourself back on the right path. And then another 5-card reading I do, or 5-card spread, is one that connects to your life calling spread. Kind of lets you know like the strongest aspects of yourself and what to focus on, and then how this is going to make you happy, fulfilled, and make money in the easiest way, kind of doing what you love, which is great. We'll go over that and practice a lot during the next class. And thank you for sitting through all this, and appreciate it. And I will talk to you next time.